Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Don't forget, everybody, Bet US. We've got the last weekend of the regular season of the NFL. Don't forget about Bet US. Use the promo code YouTube150 so that way you can get 150% matching on your first three deposits of up to $2,000. Some of the fastest payouts in the business. Now, everybody, I hate to do this to you guys. I honestly hate to do this to you, but I'm going to have to do it to you. Help me, Rhonda. What's up, Rhonda? Lady Libra in the house, double dipping for us. We really appreciate you, lady. Definitely appreciate you. Philadelphia in the house, of course. You know, I think what it is they must just get tired of seeing you on Eagle channels, which is why you hang over here, because you got no friends over there, do you, Philadelphia? There's Holly Pierce. Whoa. Let's see. Who else do we have? Chris May. Shout out to Chris May with the super chat early. I'm going to say this has been the biggest roller coaster ride that I have seen with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to say this shit is crazy, what they're doing. Aisha Robinson in the house. What's up, Aisha? I don't know if this is all to just play with our emotions or what, but we are just plain stupid. So we have clarification of Mike McCarthy technically has his contract, as well as everybody else's, goes until January 14th. So we're talking about the following Monday. Here's the problem with this. You have teams already that have fired their coaches. You know, Carolina has, a couple other teams have, the Bears have, and you have other teams that probably come Monday will be getting rid of theirs. Doug Peterson, we know New England has already gotten rid of their coach as well. The Raiders probably will get rid of Pierce, and the Cowboys might get rid of, Mike McCarthy. The thing that kills the Cowboys more than anything else, and it always hurts them, is waiting to make a move. It's like they're scared biatches about making a move. Even when they got rid of Jason Garrett, they had the same deal. They let Jason Garrett come to work every day for a week. I believe Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy passed each other while they were interviewing. Mike McCarthy had interviewed earlier with the Giants, and I think the Bears, and then he came on Saturday with the Cowboys. And by the time the Cowboys wait and waste so much time, the good candidates are gone. And I really feel like I saw an article, or saw a video from some New Orleans YouTubers, and they're like, is this the worst job to take in the NFL? And I'm like, I got to tell you, New Orleans, that food down there is pretty good. If nothing else, the food is really good. I don't think it's the worst job. I don't think I'm thinking about the New York Giants being up in there in New York, in that trash ass city. That's got to be a shit job. I'd take New Orleans over the Giants any day. But I really think that if you want to build your media brand, I guess Dallas is a place to come, like Micah Parsons said. Even Jason Garrett, who was fired, he's got he's on Sunday Night Football and things, so he's got a job. The only one who you couldn't guarantee that was with Jason Witten, because he was atrocious as far as being an announcer. Tony Romo does get on a bunch of people's nerves, but he getting paid big time. But when I look at this, if you're Ben Johnson, you're not coming anywhere near the Cowboys. You got a meddling owner who's going to cut you off at the knees. You have the second lowest paid coach in the NFL in Mike McCarthy. There's only one guy that's getting paid less than him. He's at $3.5 million. Not that $4 million is chump change, but but Andy Reid is up there at 20, and there's a lot of guys. Everybody's in between. So you're not going to get paid a lot. They're going to tell you, well, you get other opportunities here when you're the coach of the Cowboys. Lady Libra. I'm sorry. Lola in the house. Game time. I'm hoping everything's okay with you, buddy. I know time is getting short for your mother-in-law and things, and sending prayers your way, buddy. And when you get free, buddy, I definitely need to get together with you, man, because we got so much that's going on. Roland's Review. What's up, Roland? Derek Young. So I've been trying to get into the minds of the organization because really, Julian, what's happening? Nobody really knows for sure what the plan is with the Joneses, okay? But I'm trying to listen to Jerry and Stephen Jones, all their press conferences, and try and get a feel for these things. And it's rotting my brain. I honestly think I'm getting brain damage from listening to Jerry and Stephen Jones. That literally, it'll drive you crazy. But we have to do this tonight because I need your opinion, because I'm beginning to feel like Jerry and Stephen Jones are kissing Mike McCarthy and Mike Zimmer's ass. I don't remember them going through with players and things, or Jason Garrett and things, the way that they are with Mike McCarthy. Now, Stephen Jones, you can say all you want about Catboy. He will piss you the hell off because he's going to tell you, we ain't got money. You know, when you're dealing with the cap, you know, people don't understand how difficult it is to work the cap. We got players that we screwed contracts up that got dead money and things. But, you know, and we have to try and work, you know, there's only a couple pieces of the pie. And Dak's got to understand, you know, if he takes all the pie, then there's no pie for everybody else. And we know I like to eat my share of pies. You know, I like to get my piece. I like to get my brother's piece and get my daddy's piece, because my daddy, well, he's eating squirrel brain over there. So, you know, this is a difficult thing for us to deal with. We all like pie, and we ain't trying to pay no pie. So you've got that dynamic. But when I listen to him today, again on 105.3 The Fan, he was literally like puckered up and bent over. Not just Mike McCarthy, but it seemed like Mike Zimmer. Now, you'll remember earlier in the week, Mike Zimmer was saying, you know, you want to be someplace where you're wanted. He put that out there, and damn, if Catboy didn't just like kiss that ass about how great a job they did. He literally, he literally did Mike McCarthy's job for him. If you were saying here it is, it's the exit interview with the owner, you know, okay, so how do you evaluate the season? You know, we thought we were going to go in the playoffs and go deep, you know, the criteria was to go deep in the playoffs. And you would expect Mike McCarthy to say, well, look, you know, we ended up having a lot of young players that we had to plug in that weren't quite there, right? And then we just had injuries off the bat. We lost 4 defensive ends, you know, before the season even started. So we were counting on this guy and that guy and stuff. And then, you know, Mike Zimmer coming in with the new defense, he had to feel all the excuses that you would try and do to save your job, Stephen Jones literally said. So it's a new year. It's a new year. And so we are going to try and do things a little bit differently. So you're going to see a few changes around. I hope that you like some of them. I just came up with the first one here tonight. So let's go to the tape and just listen to this, okay? I know it's going to rot your brain, but listen to this, not with the pissed off Cowboy fan that you hate Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones and what they've done to the franchise. But listen to this and see and make an honest decision on what you think he's saying, because I believe he said some things in there that you kind of say, wait a minute, that's kind of like you're actually going to do some moves.
Just now here on 105.3 The Fan, and a good afternoon, sir. How the heck are you?
Hey, we're doing good, guys. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well. And it's a good time to reflect on everything that's happened here over the last 4 months. Is it a misplaced question to say, are you proud of how this team has managed to fight and have a chance to win an 8th game coming up this weekend, considering how much adversity's been there?
Yeah, we've obviously had some challenges, and, hats off to Coach McCarthy and his leadership, and Zim and Bones and the whole staff to keep these guys focused and playing hard. Obviously, last week was a big disappointment, but, when you're playing a little shorthanded like we are with our injury situation, you just can't afford to, have the turnovers that we had. And, against one of the best teams in football at their place is going to be hard to come up with a win. But, yes, I think our guys have battled each and every week, and hats off to them. And, defensively, we were learning a new scheme the first part of the year. I think Mike was learning our personnel, and vice versa. The personnel was figuring out what Mike wanted out of them. So, at the end of the day, our guys have competed hard. I know, our goal is to win the game next week and our Sunday against the Commanders. And they've had a great year under Coach Quinn. You know what we think of him, and they're having a great season, but I also like our chances and think our guys will go out there and battle and give themselves every opportunity to win a football game.
Micah was getting poked at again for one.
Okay, so what is y'all's take on that? Now, Gabriel said Law Nations has insider says Mike is tired of meddling of the Joneses. Of course he is. Of course he is. I would be. It's like I get the shit for us not winning, but I can't do what I want to do. I had to go ahead and have Kellen Moore here for 3 years and let him run this thing. You picked all the coaches. Yeah, I'm sure he's – and I honestly think that the Joneses have had a rude awakening that, hey, wait a minute. If we lose Mike McCarthy, we ain't getting anybody that's of any stature out there. Wait, maybe we don't have it so bad right here. Maybe we need to try and hold on to this guy. He's working cheap. He does what we want him to do. He takes the bullets, because literally when Dak said Mike McCarthy should get more control over, decisions, Mike did the company line. And see here, shout out to Miss Tracy. Y'all are seeing it before I am. Look, help wanted. How's that look, guys? Help. Can you see? There you go. All right, so this is our new shirt. Help wanted, Cowboys coach, lapdog, fall guy, yes man, worker bee, bobblehead, and strong ability to do more with less. And we're going to be giving away some of these shirts, definitely on game day. And as we watch the coaching carousel go around with the Cowboys, maybe on it, maybe or not. Didn't that feel like he was kissing his ass? Thank you, baby. I love you. You look so cute. Look at that. If you guys could see. No, you couldn't see. Yo, no, stop checking out my woman. That to me sounded like he praised Mike McCarthy. He said, Mike McCarthy and, Bones Fossil and Mike Zimmer and things that, they ended up doing a fabulous job, and we just loved what they did and keeping things together. We had some hard times with all the injuries and things, and, with the turnovers, you can't expect to win a game when you have some of those turnovers and stuff. He literally kissed Mike McCarthy's ass. I think they're worried that it's not a matter of them keeping them offering him this position, that they might offer and they'd say, go to hell. Take your job and shove it. I'm honestly beginning to feel like it. So let's go on a little more.
One of his quotes, he said, if you take away the score, we were right there with them. And, it's kind of, one of those things you could laugh at or not. But going inside the box score, if you look at first downs and third down efficiency and yards, there's something to it. I mean, you guys definitely held your own, I guess, in a lot of ways other than the scoreboard. Is that like a moral victory, or how do you look at that?
No, I don't look at it as a moral victory. I doubt even Mike thinks of it as a moral victory. I just felt like, if you take away the turnovers, which you can't, by the way. I'm not saying you, but you lose the turnover battle in the NFL, there's a good chance you'll lose that football game. And we know that. We coach not to turn the ball over, obviously, and we coach to get the ball. And, in our 3 seasons where Mike was 12-5, one of the things we did best was protect the ball and get the ball. And we just hadn't done that quite as well this year, and consequently we hadn't, had the type of season you'd hope to have. But you look at most of the teams with great records in this league, and, 90% of the time I'd bet you they're winning the turnover battles in their football games, and that's just part of it. But, no, I don't think there's any moral victories. I just think you go out there and you battle, and we were driving the ball good the first couple of drives, and but then the turnovers hit, and we gave up some points right there at the end. And then, you got to give hats off to them. And Saquon Barkley, he was running hard to get to that 2,000 yards, and what a great season he's had. I'll tip my hat to him. And the Eagles have a good football team, and they played well. They played the game to. Did what they needed to do to win the football game.
So, didn't he just defend what Micah said? Well, we were driving the ball real well and things, but, we did have the turnovers, which, we had 4 of them in there, and Micah said you take away 5 plays that, it's in the scoreboard, it's a different game. So you now have Catboy. So let's recap this so far. I'm sorry to rot your brain out on here, but listening to this, there's a lot of information that's in here if you read between the lines and listen to what he had to say. So he's on board here defending Micah, which says, of course, to me that, let me step back for a second. Jerry Jones will shoot from the hips. Jerry Jones will say anything that's on the top of his mind, and very rarely does it actually happen. You remember when he was talking about show me the money. Another time he was talking about, getting Adrian Peterson, even though he was under contract with the Minnesota Vikings, okay? That Johnny Manziel and things. You've heard him, we're going all in. Jerry Jones goes way off the reservations. I ask you to find a single time that Stephen Jones has said something that they have not done. When Dez was here, Jerry was like, it's hard to think about any team without a Dez Bryant. We just love that Dez Bryant. And when Stephen Jones was asked about him, he was kind of like, well, we're going to have a conversation about Dez Bryant. In his mind, he already knew we're going away from Dez Bryant. He doesn't lie to you. He tells you like it is. He won't bullshit you like Jerry. You won't like his answers, because he'll tell you when Jerry's gone, we'll take less risk. And I'm kind of like, I don't know what risk you're taking. I guess taking the risk on Zeke, that's a bridge too far for Stephen Jones. But if he says blah, 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 you listen. When he says we're going to have a hard time spending money on the cap, or it's been true. Okay, so let's go back on here a little bit more.
Now, speaking of those Eagles, a heated rivalry,
Bobby
even
Minisky.
from their former executive, Joe Banner, this week, said other teams are getting more from their coordinators and assistants than the Cowboys. He had a back and forth going with Ed Werder. Do you guys see it that way? I mean, I thought that was kind of unfair criticism from Joe.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's Joe. I mean, he's an ex-Eagle. He's got the right to say what he wants to say. We worry about what we can control, what we can do. I like our group. I like Mike McCarthy. I like Coach Schottenheimer, and I love them. I mean, they're all proven guys in this league, and if people want to be critical, I guess, when you have the record we have, which is not a winning record, then people have the right to be critical of you. But we worry about what we can control and what we can do about it.
There's a lot of potential turnover. You got a ton of impending free agents. You've mentioned the coaching staff and the contracts, but do you expect there to maybe be turnover in the personnel department within the scouting staff and in Will McClay's deal as well?
Here you go.
Yeah, no. I mean, we like everything about our personnel staff. We've, I think most people, when they rank rosters, to start the season, I think most people would say that we've had, one of the better rosters in the league for the past, for that matter, for the past 10 years. And I think Will's done a great job. I think his scouting staff's done a great job. And don't expect turnovers. But, right now we're worried about beating the Commanders. We'll get into, all the detail of what our organization, where we can be better, because, we have to be better. I mean, we didn't get the job done this year. So, Jerry, myself, the whole organization will look for ways to improve because it's unacceptable. I know it is to our fans. I know it is, in the building, to finish with the tie. We're going to end up with a losing record, and that's not certainly not what we think the Dallas Cowboys are all about.
With trying to beat the Commanders on Sunday, do you expect Trey Lance to start?
We'll see. I mean, obviously, we're doing everything. We're going to do what gives us the best chance to win the game. And Mike McCarthy will make that call. We've been practicing, hard all week, and certainly he's more open-minded than he's been to it. And in terms of, who's going to give us the best chance to win the game Sunday, and he'll ultimately make that call, and we'll see.
It's Stephen Jones here with you on 105.3 The Fan. Do you feel like the decision on Mike needs to be made fairly quickly next week to give him a chance to talk to other teams that might be interested?
We'll address that next week.
I like it. Okay, Stephen Jones here with you on 105.3 The Fan. What do you think of the fans who are saying, yes, I love to see us win, but this first round is shallow, and that eighth win might push us out of the top half of the first round? Do you fault them for actually hoping the Cowboys lose a game?
I mean, obviously people look at that. I mean, our fans aren't the first fans to look at that, and you certainly understand it. But at the same time, we're in this to win football games, and but totally understand fans who say, "Hey, it'd be great to have a better pick," and I get that. But I'll tell you this: we're about winning football games, and we've been about that even when we were. When we were really behind the eight ball, and I think our players have shown that they've competed every step of the way, and they'll go out there against the Commanders and expect to win that football game, and they'll do their best to win it, and they'll compete at a high level.
Hey, Stephen, we're not going to get a chance to talk to you for a while here, but I want to ask you, what's something in the media that we get really wrong about the salary cap?
I just think people
Here we
don't.
go. This is about
at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing people don't understand is the ability, to push things forward, and how much a team is doing that already, versus, hey, they could have done this, they could have done that differently. I think it's just wrong. I mean, we certainly understand. Pushing money forward. We do it all the time. You read in the paper all the time where we rework our top, but there's only our top contracts on our roster, but there's only so many top contracts you can rework. The rookie contracts are, as you know, Brian, are minimal.
Sure.
And then we have a lot of players on our team that are veteran salary benefit type players. So at the end of the day, there's only 6, 7, 8 contracts that you can rework, and you can probably get them all in quick order. In terms of where you go to create that space. I mean, we reworked that every step of the way of his $40 million contract, and we'll be reworking it again throughout on his $60 million contract in terms of pushing, the payday out. And a little bit that's our problem right now, Brian, is we're not only paying for his current 60,
sure,
but we're also having to pay. We're still paying for the part of the $40 million contract that we pushed out. And I think sometimes people just don't quite get their hands around that, but that's understandable.
Sure.
But I think Jerry well enough. He's in this and more motivated than anybody I can think of to win a Super Bowl right now. And he's not going to be pulling the reins in on trying to hold back on trying to put a Super Bowl put a Super Bowl team on the field. He doesn't have forever to win a championship. And
did you hear that? He's not going to hold back. He doesn't have forever to win a championship. We've been saying that shit forever. So I'll let him finish.
Brian, you know him well enough.
Yeah.
He'd trade a lot of things, including a whole lot of money, if you could do it to win a Super Bowl.
So where we do really get it wrong, Steve, is when we start talking about flipping switches and stuff like that. That's where we lose really track of this. Is that fair? I mean, we try and play amateur cap guys, and we're not very good at this.
Yeah, I just think that
he's a professional.
Unless you're looking at it, and by the way, I'm sure there's many folks who would understand it in a second if they're looking at it.
Right.
And they would see real quickly. I could sit down with you. I know you, Brian, and you'd get it in 5 minutes if I showed you our cap situation.
Right.
And where we would go to create space. And, we've pretty much maximized all the space. But then as you create that space and you push it out, then there comes a time where you have a day of reckoning when you eventually have to have a roster where, you just don't have the roster, and you, not unlike Denver's doing, but hats off to them. They're doing it with a rookie quarterback, but they're having to eat the Russell Wilson contract right now. Mm-hmm. But they've done one hell of a job of doing it.
Well, hell of a job this year, Stephen. Thanks for another season with us. We've enjoyed the heck out of these chats, and give them hell. We'll be pulling for you.
Great being on with you guys.
Okay. Hope you guys like the new camera angle there. Looking down is good because as your face falls because you're a fat ass like I am, then it kind of hides that, okay? And see, because the belly's away further, it looks smaller. It looks small. See, these are tricks that you got to learn when you're a fat ass like me to try and not look so fat and old. But I'm fat and I'm old. Okay, so let's kind of dissect some of this stuff here. We had earlier in the day, we had Mike McCarthy, who was on 105 The Fan with his last, coaches thing before the end of the season. Alan Williams, what's happening? And Ginger Rogers. Shout out to Ginger. And there's Chris May, Overdrive, can't be wrong. So we had Mike McCarthy, who they kind of snuck in at the end. Would you like to do the show next year too? Which is kind of a subtle way to say, do you want to be back? And he said, well, I hope so. So that kind of says Mike McCarthy wants to be back. Stephen Jones, he certainly, you wouldn't think that we didn't make the playoffs by the way Stephen Jones talked. And the way that they're talking, today I have been all kinds of emotions up and down, on this whole situation. Now, I will say, when I went to bed last night, thinking about the Commanders versus the Cowboys, growing up on that rivalry, okay? And see, here let me go ahead and bitch slap the Eagle fans right now, okay? Let me grab the super chicken. See, Bobby Beniski, at least you're having, we're going to be shoveling some snow here, so maybe I just need to go ahead and, Bobby, you just gave me an idea. I need to go ahead and get a shovel up here so we can use that as a prop, the bullshit shovel, so we can shovel that. Shout out to Bobby Beniski. So let me go ahead and bitch slap the Eagles while I can. See, you have to understand, growing up, the biggest rivalry that the Cowboys had was the Redskins. George Allen, Tom Landry. We're talking about two coaches that would, George Allen wanted to meet Tom Landry at midfield and just fight it out. We didn't have a rivalry with the Eagles because they stunk. They were like, I'm sorry, they were like Bush League. The Eagles couldn't do anything. Rivalry? How is it a rivalry when you're always getting stomped? You sucked. So there was no rivalry there. It was the Cowboys and it was the Redskins. That was it. There was no Giants. Meh. Yeah, the Giants, the Eagles, and we also had the Cardinals in our division. And it looked like you had the cream of the crop, which was the Redskins and the Cowboys, and then you had the other guys, the redheaded stepchildren, the Giants, the Eagles, and the Cardinals. That's it. You weren't relevant. You were just the easy games on our schedule. Okay. Oh, no, yeah, Joe Gibbs, of course, who came through from Air Coryell and came up with the one-back system and all. In the meantime, the Eagles were just doing Eagle things, which was just, they were eating horse shit back then. They just were. Yeah, I said it. Fuck you, birds. Okay? Still hate you guys. Now I lost my thought here. Had to start. Oh, I went to bed last night because I was thinking, this is Dallas Washington week, and there's no buzz. I haven't shown a clip of the Cowboys rivalry between the Cowboys and the Redskins at all this week, and I'm like, this team has literally stolen the joy from me that started out from when I was a child. What you laughing at, Lola? What you laughing at? I'm trying to see what's everybody laughing at. Okay, somebody got to let me in on the joke. Okay, so I'm sitting here in my mind. I'm like, this is just. I'm gonna say. Mike Green, talk about now, not stuff that happened 40. Mike, who the hell are you? Who the hell are you to tell me don't talk about things 45 years ago that I experienced? You can kiss my high yellow ass, because everything that I have done, that I have seen, that I have been through shapes the person that I am. So I'm not going to forget about the shit that I did. I'm not going to forget about the shit that I did and went through that made me the person that I am. Who the hell are you to tell me on my show? This is my show. You see, this is Joe Boo Sports Report. That guy right there is Joe Boo. That's Joe Boo. My shingle says Joe Boo Sports Report, Mark Holmes. It doesn't say, what's your name again, boy? Mike Green. Mike, you can open up your own channel, and on your channel, you don't have to talk about shit that happened 45 years ago. But here on Joe Boo Sports Report, that's what you get. That's what's on the menu. And if you don't like the menu, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, okay? I hate it when somebody comes in here and I'm doing my show and they tell me what I can and cannot talk about. So you know what I say to somebody like you?
Shut the fuck up. Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck ups to shut.
Katrina Kiss. What's up, Katrina Kiss? Shit. You must be new here, aren't you? Mike, you must be new here. Shh. Ain't some funny bullshit. Must be a damn Eagle fan, Johnny come lately, who now has revisionist history that, the only team that's ever been relevant is the Philadelphia Eagles because we've won some the last few years and we got a Super Bowl ring. Well, you know what, dude? You're not even the best one in this time period here, bro. You keep talking about how great you've been since the 2000s. Okay, have you seen the New England Patriots and how many rings that they've won? Have you seen the Kansas City Chiefs, how many they won? Hell, the New York stinking Giants in the 2000s have won more than you freaking Eagle fans. You ain't that great. You're not. You're not. So get off your high horse, because your asses are going to choke in the playoffs. Stupid ass mother humpers. Shit. I was sitting here talking about my team and what, how we got here and how I felt. And this douchebag is going to tell me, don't talk about 45 years ago. What, I'm not supposed to enjoy my childhood? Growing up with my dad, watching football, and I'm blessed enough that my dad is still around and we can still have conversations about it? Shit. Facts. I bet them Eagles choke and they're going to lose. What's up, Ghostface Gaming? Be real minds. I've already flushed the season down the toilet. Aisha Robinson, I hope your year definitely is better for you than it was last year. Bobby Beninsky, back to keto diet. Dallas keeps you on the couch. Shh. Yeah, I do need to, because I definitely enjoy too much food this holiday season and this season. So yeah, I got to get this shit off of me. I got to make myself mad sexy for my baby. Anyway, back to this interview. Since I can't talk about 45 years ago. What kind of who was this team? Tell me. You know what? Hey Mike, bro, I'm gonna make it easy for you. Since I'm such a loser, you're here watching a loser. What does that make you? How about you sit your ass down? Sit your ass down and shut the fuck up. Grown people are here talking. Guys, I am all move in. Oh, Momo, congratulations on being moved in. You got the big screen TV set up so you can watch the Cowboys in Washington, see the Cowboys beat the hell out you. Okay. So listening to that, listening to Mike McCarthy, it sounds like Mike McCarthy does want to stay. The Cowboys, which are basically going to take a week to decide if they want Mike McCarthy, they're playing musical chairs, and they're just standing on the sideline while the music's playing. They're going to run out of chairs in a week. You're already hearing about Cliff Kingsbury, who may interview with the Bears or wants to get back in there. 75-inch. Okay. All right. You've been hanging out. It's 75 inches. We like that. The bigger, the better. That's 75. Maybe you can try and stretch that sucker, and get it to about 85 inches. That's what we really want. Yeah, Mike, shut your cocksucker and keep your Peter beaters off the keyboard. Mike agreed, don't let the door hit you with that pig. Well, if history says anything, the Cowboys will have 10 rings before the Eagles have 2. Boom, boom, boom. I hope the Eagles win the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl mark. Okay, Kevin. I don't. I am a fan of anybody who's playing the Eagles right now, and that includes the Commanders. I'm an Eagle fan, but I'm rooting for the Cowboys this week for our own self-interest. Getting that run back with the Redskins. Okay. So you want to play them. Ooh. Okay. All right, I hear you. I guess you're worried about playing somebody from the north. Green Bay or Minnesota. One of them? Okay. All right, so what are we doing here with the Cowboys? If the Cowboys move on from Mike McCarthy, which is still a possibility, who the hell wants this job? Who wants this job? Who can you say, oh man, that's going to be a better move? Now, I've heard some people say, hey, maybe John Gruden. Okay. How was that last go-round where he was the GM he wasn't the GM. He hired the guy from ESPN to be the GM. But he was the coach getting $10 million a year. How'd that work out with the Raiders? After Tony Dungy's guys got old, how did that work out for Tampa Bay? Cliff Kingsbury. He looks decent as an offensive coordinator with the Commanders with the left hand up. But he didn't look like he knew a damn thing as far as being a head coach. Forget about the Lions coordinator. He's not coming here. There's that Roland's review. Yeah. Oh, he does. And Roland, do you think he's the only one? Do we really think that all of the teams out there that he is the only? Was the owner of the Carolina Panthers? Didn't he kind of lose the team because of that? But be that as it may, giggle, giggle. I will support them with my tongue. Jeff Lee in the house. What's up, Jeff? As long as as Kansas City doesn't three-peat, I'm good. No, I don't know. I think if you're asking me which I would rather have least, an Eagles Super Bowl win, I can't have. I can't. I can't. I just cannot. Cannot. Okay, so who out there do we look at and say that's going to be improvement? Especially if we got Jerry and Stephen Jones still doing what they do. Now, if, and it's a big if Jerry, as he, this is, again, I still say that interview where he says Jerry doesn't have much time to waste. And it'll be hard to hold the reins back. To me, that says the thing, Sean Sharif, blow it up, start all over. Jerry ain't got that much time to do that. He's in his 80s. He's in his 80s, isn't he? You bring in a new coach, a new defense coach. We saw how long it took for our defense to get used to this system with Mike Zimmer, right? You going to start over? What happens if it ends up being like 2020 when we brought in Knucklehead with the defense? Who literally, we're going to be a 3-4, 4-3 hybrid, this, that, the other. And we had the players say, it's too complex. It's too complex, man. And literally the worst fundamental team in the history of football, one of the worst defenses I've ever seen, they literally made me throw up everything. The barbecue sub, the Italian sub, the chopped cheese. I threw up everything every week because of that sorry ass, what was his name? Damn. It was so bad I don't even want to remember his name. He was head coach for San Francisco for a minute. But anyway, be that as it may, what happens if we bring a knucklehead like that and we have to start all over again? What happens if we hire a Cliff Kingsbury and he really does suck? That he did it with smoke and mirrors. Georgia Gentleman. Shout out to Georgia Gentleman. Member for 30 months. Ding, 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 ding. I need one of those T-shirts. Georgia, email me. Are you talking about this? Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Boom. It should be, actually, I think my wife's going to put it on her website, cowboyjoeboo.com. But if you don't see it on there, email me, cowboysmark94@gmail. I will, I'm going to be giving some of those away on Sunday. Ginger, you know what? I wouldn't have a problem with I would say, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to say, here's the team I'm rooting for, because for all I know, I might be the problem. I might put some bad stank on it. I might put some bad stank on that. For real, Mike McCarthy sucks. Yeah, we can all, that's something we can get behind. But Brandon G, oh, no, sorry, Cranky. Let's do this. Let's pull this up. Okay. Let's look at the coaches that the Dallas Cowboys have had. Okay? Tom Landry, the king, had a win-loss record of 250 to 162 with 6 ties. A .60 win percentage. Wade Phillips, surprisingly, 56 and 34s, identical win-loss percentage as Tom Landry, except when it came to the playoffs. 1 and 2 in the playoffs. Tom Landry, 20 and 16. Do you know who the next? Oh, I'm sorry. Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer actually had the highest win percentage of all the coaches in the Cowboys, but it was literally on cruise control coming off of 2 back-to-back Super Bowls at 64 and 40 at 625. The next one, surprisingly, is Mike McCarthy at 590. If we take Jason Garrett, who was a .55, and we take Bill Parcells, who was a 5.31, a Dave Campo that was a 31, and Chan Gilly that's a 5.63. As much as you don't want to hear this, Mike McCarthy, after Barry Switzer, has been the most successful coach that the Cowboys have had. You may think he's an idiot. It's not like we were winning a whole lot of games. And I'm going to say, in comparison to Jason Garrett, I could say Terry Glenn. I can say T.O. I can say they made a trade for Joey Galloway. I know they made a trade for Roy Williams. They ended up having DeMarco Murray, who had 1,800 yards. Alan Williams. Mike Nolan, that's it. Thank you, Alan Williams. Alan Williams gets the prize. Ding, 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 ding. Shout out to Alan Williams. Yeah, that's a name that you want to forget. So, in reality, when you look at all of the coaches that we've had since Barry Switzer and the old team got old, Mike McCarthy has done more than anybody else. And you have to look at this and say, the Cowboys did the least to help him. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? What moves can you look at and say, you know, at least they made the trade for Amari Cooper for Jason Garrett, right? What move can you say they did to help make Mike McCarthy successful? They did none. There was no big... They got rid of Amari Cooper. They didn't replace Amari Cooper. Only thing they've done is draft for Mike McCarthy. There's not one big free agent signing in the whole time he's been. Not one. So how do you look at this and say, oh, I'm sick of him. Man, he sucks. How do we know? How do we know? We can all look at it and say, how many of us said going into the season that Zeke Elliott's not the answer? That Zeke Elliott is past his prime. That we are a laughingstock for our running back room. How do we look at it and say, We didn't have a viable linebacker on the roster when we played in the playoffs last year. How do we justify and say you didn't have a run stopping line and you don't invest in defensive linemen? The problems that Mike McCarthy is dealing with are the same problems we've had with Jason Garrett that they don't address. So literally, how does changing the coach get us to the Super Bowl if you keep doing what you're doing everything else? If he still got paid, Dak was happy to not play this year, I bet. No, that's where you're wrong right there. Cranky, you are 100% wrong on that one because football players, they want to play. They want to play. There is no football player out there that says, I'm just here to get a check, man. No, you train and do all that stuff. You want to be out there winning and things. After Jerry Jones, the Cowboys will win. You mean after Jerry and Steven? Because Steven's doing most of the running of this team right now. Steven is doing a lot of the running of this team. Y'all found one cheap. Dowdle is a solid back. Probably spelled his name. Yeah, it's Rico Dowdle. And knowing Catboy, he's going to look and say, we really like the fact that we ended up, finding Rico Dowdle, that he's actually the first Dallas Cowboy running back to ever get 1,000 yards who was undrafted. That, that's some homegrown talent. And we love homegrown talent because he was undrafted, we didn't have to pay him very much money. And now that he's actually had a great season after we finally figured out that we need to run him some more, that he's going to want to get paid. And unfortunately, with our cap situation, we can't afford to pay guys that want a lot of money that we believe in. So, Rico, we'll have to do more with less. And, maybe we bring Zeke Elliott back for one more go-round because, he's a Cowboy for life, except when we're not winning. And when we don't want to pay his contract. So, yeah. Big Spank Dog, you think it's bad now, Mark? Just wait. Bro, I went to Dallas and saw my team get mollywopped by the Eagles. It don't get too much worse than that, bro. Lord Vaughn, Mark's hair has a Goku thing. What is Goku? Goku. I know it's because the air is so dry and it's been so windy. It's like, believe it or not, my hair blows when it's heavy wind. We've got like 30 and 40 mile an hour wind gusts, so it's just like just dry. It's dry. My hair's it's screaming, product. I need product. Please put some product in it. Okay, I'm amazed at how people worry about my appearance and things, about how fat I am and what my hair's doing and stuff. Are you coming here for my gorgeous looks, or are you here for knowledge? I'm trying to understand. I didn't realize I was supposed to be a piece of eye candy for people. So what I'm saying is, or the question you have to ask is, what have the Cowboys done to help Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott win a Super Bowl? That's the only thing I want to say. What have they done? I've seen 49ers go out and get Hargrave, go out there and keep their wide receivers and Ayuk and Deebo Samuels. I've seen them go out there and get a Christian McCaffrey to make sure they had a great running game. We get Zeke. And we trade for Mingo. We bring back Zeke, and we get Jonathan Mingo. Other teams go out and get A.J. Brown and Saquon. So how can we look at this and say, just get rid of, I'm sick of Mike McCarthy, he's a bum. How's he a bum? If you say, hey, Mark, build me a house, here's a spoon. How the fuck am I going to build a house with a spoon? How the fuck am I going to build a house with a damn spoon? You crazy. And then you're going to turn around and say, well, fire him. He couldn't build the house. Again, if you're the coach of the Cowboys, boom. Help wanted for Cowboys coach. You got to be a lapdog, a fall guy, a yes man, a worker bee, a bobblehead, and strong ability to do more with less. That's unfortunately the way it is with the Cowboys. And yeah, if Law Nation is saying an insider said that Mike McCarthy is tired of the Joneses meddling, I probably, you know what, I would too. Because if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down doing it the way I know how to do it. If I mess up because I didn't do it the right way, okay, then give me the shit. But I'll be damned if I'm going to have somebody else that does all the picking and stuff, and then I'm the one that's getting the blame for what they did. You think that Mike McCarthy really said, oh, yeah, let's bring back Zeke. We don't need to go get Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's too expensive. No, I can guarantee you he didn't say that. They have really rebuilt the team on a slide. That's what, and that's where I honestly feel like they have actually put themselves in a position where they have kind of reset the clock. You've basically now, Dak is the only Jason Garrett guy that's left. D-Law's out. His contract is already going to be absorbed in this year's cap. You've got Zach Martin. His contract will be done and off of the cap. They have they'll absorb Tyron Smith's money. The rest of Zeke's money is gone. The dead money hit next year is just Michael Gallup's, which is $9 million basically. So, and they have, with the money that rolls over, they're going to have about $40-some million to work with. And we always have like 25 to 30 free agents. That's nothing new. But they'll sign those guys in the dirt cheap. When you look at this, I tell you guys, look at over the cap. Well, in fact, I'll pull it up real quick here. Because what most people don't realize is most of these contracts that you have, guys are dirt cheap. So if we talk about the 25 season here, yes, Dak Prescott's number is $89 million, but they have the triggers. D-Law, he's got no guaranteed money. They can spread out his. All these numbers are accounted for. Zach Martin, no guaranteed money. Diggs, there's no guaranteed money. I'm beginning to think that Diggs will get cut this offseason with an injury settlement. I have that feeling on there. Brandon Cooks will be gone and off the books. CD is a big hit. Micah Parsons, when they go ahead and do his deal over, they'll get cap room for that. And here's the restructure. Let's look at this. They can restructure and get $37 million off of Dak's contract that easily. And CD Lamb's, they can get 20. They can get $57 million. And Stephen Jones literally said, in the past, we've used the restructure with Dak Prescott, kind of throw some money into the future and things. And we'll be doing that as well, so that way we'll be able to get some extra cash. And what you guys have to realize is usually when we end the season, we're over the cap. And we have to get down below it to start out. To give you an example, let's go back to cap space. Take a look at this. Cap space. Let's go to 2025. Boom. Cowboys have 19 million right now. Okay, 20. Okay, for 26. They fucked me up now that the year's over. So it's 25. Okay, 25. Okay. So the Cowboys have 19 million at the moment, but that's going to roll over to this is where it's screwy. It's going to roll over to next season. This is not actually showing what you're going to have at the beginning of the league year, but you can see right now the Saints, they're $66 million in the red. The Browns, $17 million in the red. The Seahawks are $8 million in the red. We're at $19 million right there, plus the 21 that we already have on top of it. So we're actually in better shape than it sounds like. And if they pull the triggers with Dak and CD, we have $100 million to work with. So that's why there should be some hope for next year. All righty, good people. Marcus Green, I guess we chased his ass off out of here. Came in here. Don't be talking about what happened 45. Bro, I'm all about the history. I'm all about history. All righty, good people, as always. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And don't forget, we'll be live streaming on Sunday. We'll be watching the Cowboys game, the Eagles and Giants, and we'll start doing the Dead Man Walking. Dead Man Walking. And we'll definitely be giving away some of the Help Wanted coaching shirts. As always, I appreciate you guys. And we will see you guys soon. I think I don't have turn out the lights on here, do I? I don't have it. I got to reload. Why don't I not have turn out the lights? Holy cow. Hold up. We them boys. Hold up. We're making noise. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good
Katarina,
things
have a good
must
night.
end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.